Hello friends, welcome to the point. In today's session, let's discuss about rural development. So we have already learned how poverty was a major challenge facing in India till today. And we also came to know that majority of people live in rural areas where they do not have access even to basic necessities of life. So agriculture, it is a major source of livelihood in rural sector. Mahatma Gandhi, he once said that real progress of India, it did not mean just the growth and expansion of industrial urban centers, but it actually meant the development of villages. So the idea of a village development is at the center of the overall development of the nation, and it is relevant even today. What is rural development? So rural development, it is a comprehensive term and it focuses on action for the development of areas that are lagging behind in the overall development of the village economy. Some of the areas which are challenging and which needs a fresh initiatives for development in rural India, it includes development of human resource like literacy, more specifically we can say female literacy, education and skill development, and development of human resource with regard to health, which addresses both sanitation and public health. Land reforms, development of productive resources of each locality, infrastructure development like electricity, irrigation, credit, marketing, transport facilities, and so on. Special measures for elevation of poverty and bringing about a significant improvement in the living conditions of the weaker sections of the population. So all this means that people engaged in farm and non-farm activities in rural areas have to be provided with various means, and that help them increase the productivity. And they also need to be given opportunity to diversify into various non-farm productive activities like food processing. Credit and marketing in rural areas. Credit. The growth of rural economy, it depends primarily on infusion of capital from time to time to realize higher productivity in agriculture and non-agriculture sectors. So as the time gestation between crop sowing and realization of income after production is quite long, so that the farmers borrow from various sources to meet their initial investment on seeds, fertilizers, implements, and their other family expenses, and so on. So at the time of independence, money lenders and traders, these people, they exploited small and marginal farmers by lending to them money with high interest rates, and they keep on manipulating the accounts to keep them in debt trap. And a major challenge occurred after 1969 when India adopted social banking and multi-agency approach to adequately meet the needs of rural credit, and later National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, which in short is called as NABARD. It was set up in 1982 as an apex body to coordinate the activities of all institutions that is involved in rural financing system. So the Green Revolution, it was a harbinger of major changes in credit system as it led to diversification of the portfolio of rural credits towards production-oriented lending. The institutional structure of rural banking today it consists of a set of multi-agency institutions like commercial banks, regional rural banks, cooperatives and land development banks, and they are expected to dispense adequate credit at cheaper rates. And recently, self-help groups they have emerged to fill the gap in formal credit system, because the formal credit delivery mechanism it has not only proven inadequate but it has also been fully integrated into overall rural social and community development. Rural banking, a critical appraisal. So rapid expansion of the banking system, it had a positive effect on rural farm and non-farm output, income and employment, especially after the Green Revolution. So this helped farmers to avail services and credit facilities and a variety of loans for meeting their production needs. Famines became events of the past. We have now achieved food security, which is reflected in abundant buffer stock of grains. However, all is not well with our banking system. So with the possible exception of the commercial banks, other formal institutions they have failed to develop a culture of deposit mobilization. Agricultural loan default rates have been chronically high, and therefore the expansion and promotion of the rural banking sector it has taken a backseat after reforms also. So to improve the situation, it is suggested that the banks they should need to change their approach from being lenders to building up relationship banking with the borrowers. Agricultural market system. So agricultural marketing it is a process that involves the assembling, storage, processing, transportation, packaging, grading and distribution of different agricultural commodities across the country. Let us discuss 4 measures that were initiated to improve the marketing aspect. The first step was regulation of markets. So it was to create orderly and transparent marketing conditions. And the second component is provision of physical infrastructure facilities. So infrastructure facilities like roads, railways, godowns, cold storages and processing units. The current infrastructure facilities they are quite inadequate to meet the growing demand and it should be improved. The fourth element it is a policy instruments like assurance of minimum support price MSP for agricultural products, maintenance of buffer stocks of wheat and rice by Food Corporation of India and distribution of food grains and sugars through PDS. So these instruments they are aimed at protecting the income of farmers and providing food grains at a subsidized rate to the poor. So despite government intervention, even private trade is taking place by money lenders, rural political elites, big merchants and rich farmers, which predominates agricultural markets. The need for government intervention it is imminent, particularly when a large share of agricultural products it is handled by the private sector. Emerging alternative marketing channels. So it has been realized that if farmers directly sell their produce to consumers, it increases their incomes. So some examples of these channels are Apni Mandi, it is in Punjab, Haryana and Rajasthan. Hadaspur Mandi, Pune. Raitu Bazaar, that is vegetable and fruit markets in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. And Ulavar Sundays, it is a farmers market in Tamil Nadu. And there are several national and multinational fast food chains that are increasingly entering into contract alliances with farmers to encourage them to cultivate farm products like vegetables, fruits and so on of the desired quality by providing them not only with seeds and other inputs but also assured procurement of produce at a pre-decided prices. Diversification into productive activities. So this diversification, it includes two aspects. One, it relates to change in cropping pattern, and other relates to a shift of workforce from agriculture to other allied activities and non-agriculture sector. So the need for diversification, it arises from the fact that there is a great risk in depending exclusively on farming for livelihood. So diversification towards new areas is necessary not only to reduce the risk from agriculture sector but also to provide productive sustainable livelihood options to the rural people. So much of agricultural employment activities, they are concentrated in Kharif season, but during the Rabi season, in areas where there are inadequate facilities, it becomes difficult to find gainful employment, and therefore expansion into other sectors, it is essential to provide supplementary gainful employment and realizing higher income for rural people so that they can overcome the poverty and other tribulations. Therefore, there is a need to focus on allied activities, non-farm employment and other emerging alternatives of livelihood. Agriculture is already overcrowded, and a major portion of the increasing labor force, it needs to find alternate employment opportunities in other non-farm sectors. Non-farm economy, it has several segments in it. Some they possess dynamic linkages that permit healthy growth, and others are in subsistence, low productivity proportions. The dynamic subsectors, they include agro-processing industries, food processing industries, leather industry, tourism and so on. And those sectors which have a potential but seriously lack infrastructure and other support include traditional home-based industries like pottery, crafts, handlooms and so on. And majority of the rural women, they find employment in agriculture, while men, they generally look for non-farm employment. Animal husbandry. So in India, the farming community, it uses mixed crop livestock farming system. Like cattle, goats, fowl, they are widely held spaces. So this livestock production, it provides increased stability in income, food security, transport, fuel and nutrition for the family without disrupting other food producing activities. So today this livestock sector alone, it provides alternate livelihood options for about 70 million small and marginal farmers, so including landless laborers also. So this chart, it shows a distribution of livestock in India, and in this, poultry, it accounts for the largest share of 58%, which is followed by others, and other animals which include camel, asses, horse and so on. India has about 300 million cattle, including 108 million buffaloes in 2012. And performance of Indian dairy sector over the last 3 decades, it has been quite impressive. Milk production in the country, it has also increased by more than 8 times between 1951 to 2004, and this can be attributed mainly to the successful implementation of Operation Flood. So it is a system where all the farmers can pool their milk produced according to different grading, that is based on quality, and the same, it is processed and marketed to urban centers through cooperatives. So in this system, the farmers, assured for a good price and income from the supply of milk to urban markets. Fisheries. The fishing community regards the water body as mother or provider. The water bodies consisting of sea, ocean, rivers, lakes, natural aquatic ponds, streams and so on. So therefore, they are an integral and life-giving source for fishing community. So in India, after progressive license increase in budgetary allocations and after the introduction of new technologies in fisheries and aquaculture, the development of fisheries, it has come a long way. And presently the fish production from inland sources, it contributes to 64% to the total value of fish production, and the balance 36% it comes from marine sector, that is from seas and oceans. And today total fish production accounts for 0.8% of the total GDP in India. So West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, Gujarat, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu, these states, it contributes to a major fish producing state. Horticulture. So blessed with a varying climate and soil conditions, India has adopted growing of diverse horticulture crops like fruits, vegetables, tuber crops, flowers, medicinal and aromatic plants and plantation crops. So these crops, they play a vital role in providing food and nutrition. Horticulture sector, it contributes nearly 1/3 of agricultural output and 6% of gross domestic product of India. And India has emerged as a world leader in producing a variety of fruits like mangoes, bananas, coconuts, cashew nuts and so on. Economic condition of many farmers, they are engaged in horticulture and they has improved, and it has become a means of improving livelihood for many unprivileged classes. So this flower harvesting, nursery maintenance, hybrid seed production and tissue culture, they are highly remunerative employment options for women in rural areas. Sustainable development and organic farming. So in the recent years, awareness of harmful effect of chemical based fertilizers and pesticides on our health is on rise, and conventional agriculture, it relies heavily on chemical fertilizers and toxic pesticides and so on. So this fertilizers and pesticides, they enter the food supply, they penetrate the water sources, they harm the livestock, they deplete the soil and they devastate natural ecosystem. And efforts in evolving technologies which are eco-friendly, they are essential for sustainable development. And one such technology is eco-friendly, and that is organic farming. Benefits of organic farming. So organic agriculture offers a means to substitute costlier agricultural inputs such as high yielding variety of seeds, chemical fertilizers, pesticides and so on with locally produced organic inputs. Organic agriculture also generates income through exports, as the demand for organically grown crops is high. Since organic farming, it requires more labor input than conventional farming, India will find organic farming an attractive proportion. Finally, the produce is pesticide free and produced in an environmentally sustainable way. So popularizing organic farming, it requires awareness and willingness on the part of farmers to adapt to new technology. And inadequate infrastructure and the problem of marketing the products are major concern, which need to be addressed apart from an appropriate agriculture policy to promote organic farming. So organic produce may also have more blemishes and a shorter shelf life than a sprayed produce. So moreover, choice in production of off-season crops is quite limited in organic farming. So it is clear that until and unless some spectacular changes occur, the rural sector might continue to remain backward. And there is a greater need today to make rural areas more vibrant through diversification into dairying, poultry, fisheries, vegetables, and fruits, and linking up the rural production centers with the urban and foreign markets. So, moreover, the infrastructure elements like credit and marketing, farmer friendly agricultural policies, and constant appraisal and dialogue between the farmers groups and state agricultural departments, all these are essential to realize the full potential of the sector. Today we cannot look at the environment and rural development as two distinct subjects, and there is a need to invent or procure alternate sets of eco-friendly technologies, and that leads to sustainable development in different circumstances. See you all in the next session with some other interesting topic. Thank you.